first say your name.
So I'm Brian Johnston. I'm the chairman of the California Pro-Life Council.
Awesome. What does your council do?
We actually are the state affiliate of National Right to Life, and we advocate on behalf of innocent human life. Should the laws protect innocent life? That's really the question in abortion.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about the announcement today when it comes to GOP saying they want to defund Planned Parenthood. What do you think about that? There's been a lot of uproar from, of course, advocates for pro-choice.
Yeah.
What do you think about just the announcement today?
Yeah, well, we call it abortion because that's what it is. And the real issue with abortion is twofold. One, is this a human life that's being ended? And secondly, are there better answers? And the answer to both is yes. In the question of Planned Parenthood now is being asked to, we're asking to look at what they're doing with that money. They're living off of the government. So if they're doing abortion, that's one thing. But the debate now in Washington, D.C. is really one of our government tax money. Should it be going to this entity? In order to be part of Planned Parenthood, you have to perform or refer directly for abortions. They're part of the world's largest abortion network, and it's being funded by our government tax money. One of the questions that came up recently is what happens with the body parts of those children. I know it's uncomfortable to talk about. What's happened to them? And it's been documented that specific human organs have been sold from those abortions. And that's what's being examined in Washington, D.C.
You know, we talked to Planned Parenthood, and they, in the press releases have come out, they kind of say that the congressional GOP is being mean-spirited. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that's an emotional accusation. We rather much look at facts. I'm not going to call them names and what their spirit is. Let's look at what they're actually doing. Facts are important things, and the facts really are on the side of life. Facts are terrible things to waste. We just want to look at the facts. And is this a human life? The fact that they're selling human body parts, those have some value. This is an issue of deep consequence. Do we have to fund it with our tax dollars?
What about some people that argue that, you know, Planned Parenthood just isn't abortions? They do a lot of other things for women who need those kind of special services.
Yeah, and that's a good reason to investigate further because as it was shown last year, they talked about all the things they did, the mammograms, and then they had to admit that they don't actually have mammogram machines. They don't do mammograms. They refer for mammograms. Well, KCRA could refer for mammograms. So they actually use a whole set of emotional arguments to justify abortion, which is their sine qua non. It is their essential purpose as an organization from its inception to perform abortion, and they actually use it as a form of population control. And so that's rather frightening where they set up their clinics and the actual populations they target to receive abortions and to limit those populations.
I know that you pro-life, and with this kind of coming up now, we just had the election. Can you maybe talk about the importance of getting this done right now?
Well, I think it's important that the government do its job and has to be accountable for how it uses tax money. So this certainly wasn't done under the last administration. The last administration has embraced abortion on demand. The Jerry Brown administration embraced, there's not a single abortion Jerry Brown will say no to. Not a single abortion. That includes late-term abortion. That is an issue that the average Californian doesn't agree with. You know, even people who call themselves pro-choice, they say it's needed for certain circumstances, but that's not the law, and that's not how our tax money in California is being used. It's being used, what choice literally means legally. It means abortion simply because it's wanted. You don't need to have a reason. You can use any reason or no reason at all. Just choose to end that life. Most Californians, when they realize that that's what the law is doing, and that's what the government is doing with their tax money, they don't really agree with that.
What do you think is most important here, ethics or money, when it comes to this wanting to defund Planned Parenthood?
It's actually how the government money is used is an ethical question. So that's inherent in it. So I think last year when the president of Planned Parenthood admitted to Congress, no, they don't even have mammogram machines. That's an ethical question in terms of the kind of dust they've thrown up to get government funds. But there's obviously a question and a responsibility that members of Congress have to look at how our tax money is being used. So that's a responsibility Congress has.
Anything else you wanna add?
Oh, that's good.
I think
Can I
you
hold the
nailed it.
baby? Can I hold the baby?
Oh, yeah,
please?
do it.
Okay, okay.
Sure. Did you say you
Hey.
were a doctor?
No,
Oh,
I'm not a
okay.
doctor. I'm a former commissioner on aging.
Oh, okay.
I've got so many titles, I don't wanna, I have more offices than the Empire State Building.
Oh,
No.
I believe it.
So at any rate, the question really is this a human life in an abortion that's ended? And science says it is. That's an objective fact, has nothing to do with my belief. Every abortion stops a beating human heart. The human heart starts beating 16 days after conception. Often mom doesn't even know she's pregnant yet. So the reality of life, what they used to call the birds and the bees, where we came from, it's pretty significant. And I have to be honest with you, it was really when I looked into it, when I studied this, I was stunned at objective reality. And so that's what has to be looked at, and that's why we need to have hearings, because the facts, the objective facts of what goes on need to be examined.
I was just gonna say, why did you get so involved and why are you so passionate about being pro-life?
Thanks for asking. I think it's getting to the facts. You know, the assertion of the right to life is from the founding documents of the U.S. And in it, the founders, they said that there are certain self-evident truths. So a self-evident truth is a truth that it doesn't depend on my coming up with that idea. It is self-evidently true. And the very first premise that they put forth is that every human life has value. And that value is not given by the government, it's given by the Creator. And it's the job of government to protect that right. It's not the job to give it. Their job is to make sure those rights are protected. And a just government derives its just powers from the values of those lives, not the other way around. Government doesn't give you value. God gave you value. The Creator, whoever that Creator is how the founders dealt with it. That's where your value comes from.
Cool.
And if that's lost, then society loses moorings. That's what's
That was
scary.
awesome.
So another time
Great
we'll talk
job.
about
Yeah.
the assisted suicide euthanasia debate.